Hello, hello. Welcome to the Perpetua podcast, where our tagline is, "Passion is a beacon in the night." I actually have an idea of what I want to discuss this time around, so hopefully we can have a nice, productive conversation instead of the random stream of consciousness that we had last time. Now again, I am recording outside once more, so if you hear road noise or animal noise, well, it is late over here, and I'm walking through the wilderness at night near a road. So, yay! We're going to stick with something topical this time, especially because the irony I found out the more I considered this topic is that it actually is a pretty solid one-to-one parallel, so I can actually compare and contrast with the Ziegfried saga. So congratulations, what you have here is something topical that we can make about me, my books, my things. Isn't that lovely? So, what we have with the Marvels is something that I'm going to focus on the actual, the mainstream thing first, which is I don't see this movie working, but not for the reasons that people might list. It's actually just due to the fact that they're trying to do, I'm going to call it, man, what do I call it? The general idea is that they didn't do the proper legwork. I'm going to call it event comic syndrome for now, because that's what crossovers really are, and that's what this technically is, whether they want to admit it or not. But this is a crossover comic turned into a movie without any of the legwork for it. So basically what they tried doing with Batman versus Superman, for those of you who are movie buffs. And I'll break down why. First, we're going to have to start with the lead person, though. Which, in my series, we're going to be comparing each of the Marvels in the centerpiece of this movie to one of the Cosmic Trinity. In the case of Captain Marvel herself, played by Brie Larson, we're going to have to compare and contrast her with Sean, because Sean was the original. He was the guy who led the charge, and same thing here. They're both hot-headed powerhouses, so that's a thing. And they both tend to, for lack of an explanation, fly solo. They know what they want. There's not much structure you can put to tell them what to do. And they are friggin' wild stallions. They are walking nukes that you can only count on to save the world. You can't count on them to do what you want them to do. You can only count on the fact that whatever they're going to do, it's going to save the world. And in Sean's case, this comes with a lot of extra baggage for him. He was kind of groomed into a child soldier. So he sees things in terms of good versus evil, and he just kind of fights evil. He understands the flaw in this, though, because he knows that through his kind of bullheaded bulldozer approach, because he just happens to be so freaking strong, nobody could stop him, even if they wanted to, he has basically gotten used to being able to bulldoze his way through problems, but he's realized the consequences of it over 20 years of experience on the job. He knows that sometimes, as much as he wants to kick somebody into a nearby moon, that can cause issues. And so he has to be strategic in who he kicks into moons, and he hates that. So he tends to fly solo and take on jobs far away from most people unless he's really needed. And we can see some of that in the form of Captain Marvel, because we don't see her show up very much in, populated areas. We don't see her interacting with society at large, which fits with her soldier motif. She was a soldier as Carol Danvers. She was a soldier as, I guess, replacement Marvel. No, Vers. Vers is what they went for in the movie. But she's basically been a soldier from the beginning. But she's very hot-headed, very independent. She's let go of anything that could leash her, anything that could tell her what to do. She does what she feels is right. Nobody's going to get in her way. But what you have with Captain Marvel as a part of the issue is not the character. The movie was fine. I actually put the movie about one notch above the first Thor movie, which everybody gives me flack for, because I think the first Thor movie was okay. I think it was the weakest Thor movie. I mean, okay, second weakest now that Love and Thunder is out. Possibly third weakest, depending on how you interpret my opinion of Ragnarok. But I view it as acceptable, right? I don't think it I really don't think it honestly earned $1 billion, but if it did, good on them. I'm not willing to debate that. But what you had was Brie Larson poisoning the well. You had Brie Larson, who did a terrible PR campaign and burned through the good faith of the audience. And if there's one thing you need desperately when you're telling a story, it's to have the good faith of the audience. If you don't have the audience good faith underneath you when you go to do something, it's only going to go poorly. They're not going to be interested in the movie. You're not going to be able to tell the story you want to tell, and it's going to fail before it ever begins, because your audience either won't have the patience to hear you out before the story's done, or your audience will actively pick apart your story to the point in time where it's nothing but scraps on the floor. Even if it was once good, it's been torn apart. So you really have one of those things where the bad PR around the first Captain Marvel and Brie's follow-up hasn't really helped the case. And that's the inverse of Sean, where Sean is a hot mess behind the scenes, but all the PR he does is he shows up, he saves the day, he encourages people that they too can be heroes, and he fricks off. He's, as far as everybody in the universe is concerned, he smiles and rainbows. They have no idea how he tortures himself behind closed doors and how he hides his wounds. They don't know about that, and they don't have to. They just have to know he's a hero, and here to save them. And then he fricked off, because it's not about him, it's about saving the day. And it's frickin' not healthy for him in the story, but the public doesn't have to know that. The public just has to know that he saved the day and that he's a hero. That's all that matters. And it works. He's viewed as charismatic, even though he's kind of a dick sometimes, because it's clear he cares more about other people than he does himself. We do not have that same interaction, that same kayfabe when it comes to Captain Marvel. Even in universe, she just generally seems to be out for herself and her own justice. So there's not really much to be done there. But she's definitely more of a movie character. She starred in a movie, she's only ever been in movies, and her power set and personality only seem to kind of work in the short form format of the movies. Then we move on to Monica Rambeau. Now, Monica Rambeau deserved to have her own movie. Captain Marvel 2 should have been about Monica, period, full stop. Because right now, all she is an inoffensive, to me anyway, side character from a Disney Plus series that had nothing to do with her. She just happened to be there and happened to get her powers from it. But the plot wasn't about her. She was coincidentally there, and she just happened to get her powers this way. She was really an afterthought. Probably after Captain Marvel, everybody went, Monica Rambeau is black and could be Captain Marvel. And they went, oh, shoot, we missed our chance. Quickly, let's frickin' throw her in there and give her powers this way. And I'm like, I don't know. But I like her because, one, as far as I'm aware, the actress who plays her hasn't really said anything, which is a net neutral. There's nothing good or bad about the silence, just that she hasn't attacked fans, and therefore, what good faith I had from WandaVision is still there. I like the character. She's still military-minded, but she seems more compassionate than Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. She seems more in tune with the fact that she's dealing with fellow humans. Even when she was dealing with Wanda, even though what Wanda did was horrific, if you overthink it, Monica recognized it for what it was, which is somebody with immense power undergoing a grieving process and being unable to restrain themselves as they did so, let alone being later revealed that she's being manipulated by somebody else. So it's one of those things where Monica is more of a people person. To contrast her with Douglas is very much the same way. He made the Cosmic Patrol because he does see the point in discipline. But if you actually interact with him, he's more agreeable. He hates Sean, but he doesn't hate Sean as a person. He hates what Sean does to himself. That's why I keep comparing him to Dick Grayson. If you ever heard Nightwing talk about Batman, then you understand what I'm talking about. But Douglas, he's willing to end a threat if he has to. And I see the same kind of thing in Monica. If somebody is unreasonable, I can see her being willing to just completely destroy them. And you know what? Fair enough. And I see the same thing in Douglas. Douglas is the kind of guy where he will try to talk through to you, but he will not just let you get away with murder. He will actively try to stop you. He's not just going to sit by and wait for you to kill somebody. He's going to actively try to stop you, but he'd rather talk it out if at all possible. And that kind of puts him in this neutral zone. If I were to ever make a movie of the Ziegfried saga, I might make Douglas one of the focus characters if I was going to do the original timeline, because Douglas's power set is bullcrap. Like, people say, oh, don't introduce super speed. Super speed is going to be a problem if you introduce it to your plot. And you know what? They're not wrong. But that's half the fun of my power scaling, is that it's not so much that he's constantly super fast. He's as fast as he believes himself capable of getting away with. And that is itself a beautiful thing. But that's a different thing for another time. My point is, I see similarities there, and I think Monica really should have had a standalone movie. You can't have somebody who's a side character with all of maybe 10 minutes of screen time for their own personal plot in a Disney Plus series, not about them, suddenly in the forefront. This really should have been Monica's movie, and it isn't going to be. And I don't know if that's Brie's massive ego, or if that's Marvel's lack of faith in a black woman superhero. But I really think from the characterization in WandaVision, Monica probably could have handled this movie on her own. You could have made a Monica Rambeau story, and there was potential there. I don't see her being a draw as she currently is, because it's like making a War Machine movie, except it's after Iron Man 1. And I'm like, now if you made a War Machine movie, I wouldn't trust it just because Marvel's going a weird direction. But if you had made a War Machine movie after Iron Man 3, I would have freaking watched the crap out of that, I'm not going to lie. But that's where Monica's at. So Monica's not going to be one of the draws either. So you have a main character that's been soured from bad PR and bad interactions with the fans. And you have a side character who is there, and they're solid, but they haven't had enough time. They haven't grown on the audience. They don't really leave an impact yet. They needed more time and more preparation. She could have carried this movie on her own, but they didn't give her the time to bake. So you have that. And then we come to the one that's closest to my heart, because I absolutely love Kamala Khan in the MCU. I can tell what they did with her series. I can tell that there was 3 seasons worth of content there. If you watch the Ms. Marvel series, there's like 3 to 4 season finale content moments in the show. They had all of these seasons worth of content planned out, and I can see what they cut out and where, which it was good things they cut out. Like, not good as in quality things they should have left in. No, they cut the right things, because the things they would have wanted to add would have taken away from Kamala, would have taken away from her family's history, and her role in it. When they cut, whatever it is they cut and reshot, they brought the focus back to Kamala herself. And Kamala is wonderful. I adore her. She is precious, and she must be protected. Like, I really think that if I go to see this film, it's going to be because of Kamala. Because Kamala is the greatest. Like, she is a sweet little sugar plum, and her series is so choppy, but so, she as a character pulls it together. And I feel the same way about Dean. Dean is just kind of there in the Ziegfried saga. Yes, he has an important role to play as far as like his interactions with the Ziegfried crew, his connection to Sean, but Dean as a character is supposed to be the final evolution of people learning from Sean's mistakes. Because Dean takes it one step further than Douglas. Dean genuinely, repeatedly proves that because he's practically indestructible, he doesn't have to kill anybody. Because he can just let the person beat the crap out of him until they get all the crap out of their system, realize they can't win, and then learn to back the frick off and just be cool. Everybody calm down. You can't make him go away, and because he's not afraid of death, he can take his time to analyze the situation and see it for what it is. even if you are a dangerous, murderous, sociopathic serial killer, he can literally just, like, he can kill you. Like, don't get me wrong. You have not seen Dean unleash his full power yet. But he hasn't had to. And he prefers not to. He prefers to let people wear themselves out and then arrest them. Because he's not in any danger at any point. You may say, how does that affect the stakes? It affects the stakes because you're sitting here, one, wondering if you can even talk sense to this person. And two, thinking about how much collateral damage he's going to have to absorb to protect innocent people during this consequence. Or if the villain's going to figure out, okay, can't kill you, going to start destroying everything around you. Like, that's the thing. An invincible hero is not a full mood killer. People think they are, but you did not need kryptonite to make a story about Superman interesting. You really don't. I appreciate it being there because it's handy, because sometimes, depending on your continuity, Superman is just scary powerful. Like, frickin' who gave Superman telepathic powers? Some of these writers did. I don't know why you did that. Why do you give Superman telepathy? Superman doesn't need to be able to get in your head. He's already that strong and inspiring and good a guy. He does not need to be able to control your mind. Okay? That's just too much. But no, but I love Kamala. So if I go to see this movie, it's going to be for Kamala. And I love Dean, which is why he was the first of the Cosmic Trinity I knew I needed to introduce to the public. Because Dean is just that guy. He's just that chill guy who goes, all right, I see you. I see your evil plan. What's your real motivations for it, though? And I was just sitting there pounding on him, giving you a monologue about how he can't start. He goes, oh, I see. So this is daddy issues. And you go, wait, what? Well, yeah, you mentioned how your dad was always into dinosaurs and how you never got his attention. So clearly you want to turn the world into dinosaurs so you can get your dad to acknowledge how great you are. You'd be like, I didn't even realize I was saying that. Shut the frick up. And he does not have a degree in psychology. He doesn't. He's just heard so many of these speeches from getting his ass handed to him so often. And his pride isn't in the way of that. To him getting his ass handed to him is a part of his job. Because even among the Cosmic Trinity, nobody can take a beating like he can and just get back up. He's never in any actual danger. But because he's not the super powerful one that can throw moons at people, and because he's not the super speedy one that can destroy you before you've even finished blinking, people underestimate him. And he counts on that. He counts on that so much. He really is, he has what I call the stoppable factor. Anybody who's seen Kim Possible knows that Ron Stoppable is one of the most underappreciated sidekicks in all of fiction. Because Ron just can't be stopped. Like, there's even scenes where you see him become evil. And when you see him become an evil villain, he's very effective at it. Because Ron is he's not incompetent. He's just insecure. And whenever you see him become confident, you begin to realize there is more to Ron than we have come to know. But he's still not Kim. He's very much a B-type personality. And I kind of like that about Ron. For all the shy, nerdy, embarrassed introverts in the universe, Ron Stoppable is a hero. And in the same way, Dean is supposed to be something similar for, like, chill guru-like gearheads. He just builds stuff and is cool. He just minds his own business. He asks you some questions, helps you through your crap. And if you want to get all uppity and start trying to beat him up, well, guess what? You kind of can't. So since he's not scared of you actually killing him, he's not afraid of you, ever. You can't lie to him, you can't intimidate him, because he just has to wait it out. And wait to see what you say, wait to see what you do, and figure you out, because he's not scared of you. Dean does not know what fear is anymore. There was a time he did, but that time has passed. He's not scared of anybody anymore. All he's worried about is how much pain he's going to have to go through before he actually gets to the heart of the matter. So I like that about the Cosmic Trinity. You have this emotionally damaged, loose cannon, frickin' walking nuke. You have the cool diplomatic swordsman who just frickin' he cares so much and he's going to stop you from doing evil, but he wants to talk and break through your shell. Then you have that one guy who he won't stop listening to you. You can't get him to go away. He will not leave. Like, he comes in, he sits in your evil corporate office, and you go, security, can you have him removed? And he goes, okay. And he just throws security over, back out the room, goes, all right, security, that was nice. So about your daddy issues, and it's like, frick you, I don't want to talk about this. No, you can't make me go away. You're stuck with me. So let's talk this out. Because he has no fear. He will walk into your evil fortress and have a powwow with you. He might even bring burgers if you let him. And I like that about Dean. Like, Dean is literally like the self-actualization of what Sean thinks he is. Because Sean rolls up and you can't stop Sean. He will kick you into the frickin' next galaxy over. But Dean, he doesn't even have to kick you into the next galaxy over. You just can't stop him. He'll just keep walking in. You're like, I'll tase him. Oh, that's cute. And I like that. And that same way, Kamala has that fun, relatable, down-to-earth energy where she's just happy to be there. Like, she's not unstoppable or invincible, but she's got this energy about her of just general fun and life and livelihood about her. So if I'm going to go see the Marvels, it's gonna be for her. Now, I don't know if I am. I don't know if I can recommend all of this on Kamala alone, because I don't know enough about the director to know if they're going to properly carry that over. But I do think that the Marvels itself is going to be a commercial flop, because the only person that I can think I would want to see this movie for is... She's great, but she's a Disney Plus character, and Disney Plus is, no offense to Kamala, where she belongs. Like, she's the friendly neighborhood Miss Marvel. She's not the big budget, big screen hookah sort. And the character who is, frankly, I don't have any strong feelings one way or the other towards her. And the only other person who should have this movie hasn't been developed and was put in such a... She was introduced in such an offhanded way. You can't just take somebody from side character in a freaking spin-off show and just throw them into a big budget movie like they're supposed to be there. It really makes Monica Rambeau look like she's a sidekick, and she's not. She is supposed to be every inch the equal of Captain Marvel, and this should have been her film. I really think that it was a whole tragedy what they did. And I think they brought in Monica when they realized that Brie had ruined Captain Marvel's image. And then when they realized that everybody liked Kamala after the edits they did, they tried throwing her in as well to get the younger demographic and the people like me who love Kamala. So I guess the one takeaway from this is, watch the Miss Marvel show. There's going to be choppiness. There's going to be heavy-handedness. Briefly, it's not as often as I feared it would be, and that's a part of what I mean by the cuts, but I'll talk about that another time. But I would recommend watching Ms. Marvel. It is a fun watch. You can tell that it's like 4 seasons worth of plots that they jammed into 1 season, but it kind of works because Kamala is likable. And generally speaking, just never, don't let your dreams be dreams. No, let your passion guide you. And let it guide you through the dark night that is this really crappy world right now. Again, I might follow this up if I ever see the movie The Marvels. If anybody sees it before then, feel free to leave a comment on whether or not it was worth watching. Might influence whether or not I go to see it. But that's about my assessment, and also my assessment of the Cosmic Trinity from the Ziegfried saga. So, all of you have a good night, and thank you for listening.